Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka Batbomb82, and for 2025 I wanted to start things off with my 30 most wanted action figures in the Mezco 112 collective line. Now over the years we've gotten some really cool stuff, but I figured, you know what, there's still a lot of really cool characters that we haven't seen in this line. So how I'm going to break this down, I'm going to give you 10 Marvel characters, 10 DC characters, then 10 miscellaneous characters being movies and video games and things like that. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and start with Marvel Comics. Now a character I've been wanting to see for years now has got to be Taskmaster. Now I mainly say this, years ago we got the really cool Deathstroke figure and it's still holding up as one of the coolest figures from the Mezco 112 collective line. And man, that was just so badass. I would love to see what Mezco can do with a Taskmaster. Kind of give him a classic look, but also kind of Mezco-fying him, giving him a crazy arsenal with swords and guns and bows and arrows and just all kinds of cool gadgets. You know, throw in a soft goods posable wired cape and a posable hood and things like that. I just think he would be so awesome. Again, if we can get a really cool Deathstroke, I think we could get an amazing Taskmaster. And I don't know about that modern look, but hey, that might be kind of cool too. Next might be a little controversial, as I know a lot of us aren't fans of the Mezco female figures, and hey, I'm right there with you, I totally get it, but things have really changed, especially when they've been updating their bucks. So again, I hope they continue to update their bucks, but still, I want a Storm. We need more X-Men. And Storm to me is just one of the most iconic females in all of comic books. Definitely one of the most powerful. I think she would be so awesome. Me personally, I would love the black and gold suit that she rocks. And I know a lot of people want the uncanny white suit, I get it, but the black suit for me is just awesome. I think it'd be really cool to maybe give her an LED head with light up eyes. I think that would be rad. And just think of all like different like lightning effects and storm effects and things like that would be really cool. Especially posing her up on the Mezco circular base with that articulated arm and give her a good flight pose. I think she would be so awesome, man. I would really love a Storm figure in this line. Now another X-Men that I think would be really cool is probably the X-Men. We gotta have a Professor X, man. Now I know we've seen Marvel Legends and other companies do Professor X, but I really want to see him in the Mezco 112 collective. Especially these days when Mezco has really stepped up their game when it comes to their tailored suits, and that is mostly what you see Professor X wearing most of the times. I just think they would absolutely kill it with that. I would love to see him more in the yellow chair. I think that would be awesome. Give it like LED features and maybe even some sound effects. I think would be really rad. Give him some really cool psychic effects and maybe even the Cerebro helmet and stuff like that. I think would just be really awesome, man. We definitely need a Professor X. I think we just need more X-Men period in this line. Now from Professor X to his brother or half-brother or whatever, is that still a thing? I don't know. Anyways, one of my favorite chonky boys, man, we gotta have a Juggernaut. Definitely one of my favorite powerhouses in all of comics. You know, I think in my opinion, the Marvel Select Juggernaut is still the best Juggernaut figure out there, but I think Mezco would kill it. This is one of those things that I would want a very classic design, but yet still, you know, Mezco-fy the look of it. I think would be really cool. He has had various looks throughout time, especially that ultimate look, if you've seen that. But I just want more beefy characters. I want more big beef chonky boys, you know what I mean? Big meaty men slapping meat, you know what I'm saying? And Juggernaut is definitely one of my favorites. I think it'd be a really good addition to the Mezco 112 collective. Now again, much like Storm, I just want more female figures. And for me, I think Black Widow would be perfect for this action figure line. You know, I would take that new seamless body that they use for Ghost Spider or Spider-Gwen. I mean, that thing is so well articulated and it is hidden by the fabric soft goods of the suit. So I think you could do something similar with Black Widow here because Black Widow is a very dynamic type of character. And man, you can load her up with an arsenal of accessories, and Mezco is really good at stuff like that. Give her some really cool like effect pieces for her arm blasters and stuff like that. Oh my god, I think Black Widow would just be amazing. Again, just more female figures in general. Now next up is kind of a 2-for-1 thing, so I'm kind of cheating here, but I would definitely want a Bruce Banner and Incredible Hulk 2-pack. Now, I know we got that Thor Ragnarok Hulk back in the day, which was, needless to say, kind of controversial, but I think we definitely need a more classic Incredible Hulk. But I would love to have one with a Bruce Banner. Again, Mezco's really stepped up their tailored suits. I think you could do something really good with the soft goods for a Bruce Banner, give him like an articulated lab coat and things like that. You could even give him like lab accessories or some type of machines that he'd be using. I don't know, but I also want a really dope Incredible Hulk. Again, just very classic purple, torn pants and things like that. Maybe with some like broken pipes and cinder blocks and just, ground pound effect pieces or whatever it may be, just something like that. But I think a 2-pack of both these characters, as a 2-pack would just be incredible, man. And I really, really want that. Now from the Hulk to the Hulk Buster. Now in my opinion, I think the Mezco Iron Man figures are some of the best Iron Man figures out there that you can possibly own. And I would love to see what Mezco can do with the Hulk Buster. Now there's been a lot of different designs over the years in comics and movies and things like that, and I don't necessarily need to see a specific look. I think Mezco would be really good at just doing their own version of the Hulk Buster. I would love to see that. But I think it would be amazing, do some die-cast parts mixed with plastic, throw some really cool metallic paint, LEDs and things like that. I just really want that, man. If we're gonna get a classic Hulk, I gotta have a Hulk Buster to put with my other Mezco Iron Man figures. Next up, I really, really want an Archangel. This is a completely biased choice as I just love Archangel. He's been one of my favorite characters ever since I was a little kid reading comics. I thought the look and the design overall was just incredible. This is one of those things where, again, I would love a very, classic blue and pink orange Archangel suit, but I would want it a little Mezco-fied, you know what I mean? Give it a little more extra added detail that Mezco does with that Mezco flair, and give him some really cool effects and really awesome wings. Maybe even articulated die-cast wings. I don't know, that might be pretty cool. But either way, this is just a character that I really want to see, man. I don't know what it is, he's just one of my favorites. From the Herald to the Master himself, come on, man, we definitely need an Apocalypse. We've gotten Thanos, we've gotten Darkseid, and one of the biggest baddies in comics, we gotta have Apocalypse in this line. I think he would be so cool. I don't know if I would necessarily do the Polystone like they did with Thanos, but maybe some die-cast parts would be really rad. Make him a good chunky boy. I would load him up with different head sculpts, all kinds of interchangeable arms like a spiked mace and that clamped claw things he has and a drill, all that kind of stuff. I think he would be incredible. Maybe some LEDs for the head to give it that light up red eyes. I think would be really cool too as well. I don't know, man. It just feels weird that we haven't gotten Apocalypse yet, since he's definitely one of the coolest bad guys that's ever been in comics. Now for my last pick, I know. We've gotten a ton of Wolverine figures in this line, just like Batman, I get it. But come on, man, we need a Weapon X. I think that would be so dope. Now, there's still a lot of looks out there that Mezco can do for Wolverine, but I think the Weapon X is definitely one of the most iconic, and in my opinion, just as iconic as his brown suit or the Tiger Stripe suit. But I think they would just kill it with the attention to detail on like his helmet, maybe even give that an LED to light up. I think it would be really cool too. The different types of effects and like slashing effects and maybe even all those wires and gadgets and things that it would be attached to him. I could just imagine the paint apps and the sculpted detail on those things. I think it would be so awesome. Yes, I know we've gotten a lot of Wolverine figures over the years, but man, there's still a lot more that I want. And I definitely need, I think like a lot of us, need a Weapon X. Now onto DC. Now for DC, I really want more Superman characters, as we really don't have much outside of Superman himself. Yeah, we got a lot of other DC villains and characters, especially in the Batman universe, but nothing for Superman. And so I think Bizarro here would be an excellent start to build out the Superman ranks. I always love the colors. He's pretty much a dumb zombie kind of like version of Superman. Just swap out the head sculpt and hand sculpts for like that deluxe Superman we got not that long ago. I think it would be really cool. Maybe interchangeable necklaces like the #1 stone necklace that he wears, or a kryptonite necklace. Maybe some like battle damage and effect pieces and things like that would be really cool. So I don't know. I just really like Bizarro. He's one of my favorite characters from the Superman world. I think he'd be a pretty cool addition to the line. Now, speaking of more Superman characters, I really want an armored Lex Luthor. Yeah, we can get a standard Lex Luthor in a suit, which Mezco would absolutely kill, but how dope would a die-cast metal, LED armored Lex Luthor would be? Man, they could probably even use some of the parts they use from the Iron Man figures that they've done, but I think it'd just be really badass to have a fully armored Lex Luthor. Man, you could do some really cool effect pieces with that thing. Again, really nice metallic paints. Even if you did more of like a superpowers version of that suit would be really cool. So you can use die-cast parts and that little skirt piece that he has. You can make that soft goods with a little bendy wire and things like that. I don't know, man. That's just something I feel like we should have gotten by now, and we still haven't, which is really such an iconic villain in all of comic books. It's really shocking to me that we haven't gotten this figure yet. From one iconic villain to another, I want a Yellow Lantern Sinestro. Now, we've already gotten a couple Green Lanterns in the past as far as Hal Jordan and John Stewart, and I do hope we get other ones like Kyle Rayner and things like that. But how have we not gotten other lanterns in this line yet? Especially a Yellow Lantern Sinestro, easily the most iconic villain in all of the Green Lantern books. You know, I've read the Sinestro Corps books, the Blackest Night books, the Brightest Day books. All of those were incredible. Sinestro was a very core character in all of those storylines. But man, how cool would it be to get that figure, you know, Mezco-fied a little bit like they did with the Green Lantern figures, have some really cool yellow constructs, and we all know that Mezco does incredible effect pieces with their translucent plastics. I don't know, man, I think this is awesome. This is one I think we will get in the near future, because fingers crossed, I hope we do, because Sinestro is a total badass. Now, I know this pick is going to be a little obscure and kind of out of left field, but I absolutely love Adam Strange. You know, ever since we got that Void Cadet Gomez, it totally had this Adam Strange vibe to it. And I remember reading the early to mid 2000s run of the character, and man, those books were so awesome, such really cool sci-fi. I remember loving the artwork and the design of the suit that had a little more of an armored look to it. Was just so iconic, man. And I remember even having the DC Universe Classics figure, and that was just one of the coolest Adam Strange figures I ever owned. And I think it would be so awesome to have in Mezco form, you know, with a combination of the soft goods, you know, the plastic armor, things like that. You could even add LED features there if you really wanted to. Give him his jetpack and these really cool like laser effects. You know, he had these almost like laser effect weapon constructs things that he would use in the books, which was very unique. So I would love to see Mezco's take on that. Again, this is probably isn't going to be for everyone, as I know a lot of people aren't familiar with the character. But man, I think Adam Strange in this line would be amazing. Next, I really want a Cyborg. Now, Cyborg has become such an iconic character, especially because of the Teen Titans cartoon, and even more so now in the modern Justice League comics. He's such a cool, badass character, man, and they could really do something special with this guy. You know, mix and match like die-cast parts and plastic parts like they did with the Iron Man figures, I think would work really nice. You could even give him a bunch of interchangeable parts, since he does kind of, you know, shape-shift his arm and has all this tech stuff, which would be really cool. You could even give him LEDs in his head to light up that red eye, or even a LED arm cannon type of thing would be really nice. And you could even give him some really cool, I don't know, maybe vacuum metal pieces, or not just silver. I don't know, that's just me. That would be really awesome, maybe to pay homage to that old Kenner toy. I just think this thing needs to happen, and I kind of get the feeling we might actually see a Cyborg fairly soon. Now, like I've said, I want more females in this line. I think the Huntress would be a great addition. You know, we've really been rounding out the Bat family with a couple different Robins. We're getting a Nightwing, and I did say I want a Red Hood, and I think we'll see Red Hood fairly soon in the near future, but I think Huntress would be awesome. I've always loved her design and her color scheme. I think she'll be really badass. Give her a really cool arsenal with her different types of like crossbows and stuff like that. You know, she's had a few different looks, so I think getting a Mezco-fied version of the character will be really badass. Give her a bendy wired cape. Gotta have that. Be really awesome. So I don't know. This is just a very cool character for me. I've always been a big fan of it. And again, rounding out more of that Bat family, what I think would work really good for this. Another female I want to see is Zatanna. I think the soft goods would be so well done on this figure, like the fishnet stockings. I think maybe a bendy wire coat and tails would be really cool. She got to have her top hat, of course, and I think all the effects that we would get would be really cool. You know, you could do like a bunny out of the hat or pigeons flying out of it, all kinds of really cool spell effects, and give her a magic wand and all that kind of stuff. For me, I think the soft goods and the accessories is where this figure would hit really, really hard. And I've always just loved Zatanna, man. She's a really cool looking character. Okay, look. I think Plastic Man is a ridiculous character, and then that's exactly why I think he would make an awesome figure in the 112 collective. You know, we just got that Mr. Fantastic not that long ago, and I really love how Mezco executed the extending stretchy parts that were kind of like bendy and things like that. That would be really cool. Now, doing that with Plastic Man would take that to a whole nother level. Not only does he stretch, but he shapeshifts. And if you've seen the Plastic Man DC Universe Classics, that had some really cool accessories where he shapeshifted into different things. Man, just imagine what Mezco would do with stuff like that. They would do some really cool things. How cool would it be to see a Plastic Man maybe boom boom? I think that would be really rad. So I don't know, this one is just really wacky and really fun, and I would just love to see what Mezco would do with a character like Plastic Man. Now, easily the most wanted character from the Bat family has got to be Red Hood. I think a lot of us have been saying this for years. Mezco would kill this figure, man. You know, much like Deathstroke and like I said with Taskmaster, I think you could really just load this guy up with incredible soft goods. You know, he's had so many different looks that I think Mezco could just do their own version of the character and they would knock it out of the park. But I can just picture this metallic red helmet would look awesome. Maybe give him a second helmet or unhelmeted head with like that red mask, like Robin mask that they've done before. That would be really cool too. I would just love to see him with all kinds of like bladed weapons and different types of guns. I mean, heck, if you even want to give him his motorcycle, I think that would be really cool too, man. But this is one I know, I feel it in my bones that we're going to see this guy very, very soon in the near future. Because, come on, man, how many of us don't want a 112 collective Red Hood? Now, the last DC figure I want is, yes, another Batman. I get it, we've gotten plenty. But come on, man, how awesome would a Batman who laughs be in this line? Mezco would just kill the sculpt and paint, of course. I want to see some bloody effects and things like that. But the soft goods would be amazing. Maybe do like a polished vinyl to give it that kind of like, you know, shiny leather look to it. Be really, really cool, man. Make them kind of lengthy. I think it would be awesome. Give them some really cool accessories like chains and things like that and sickles and stuff. Maybe even include those 3 little Robin demons, whatever you want to call those. You know, give them several different types of head sculpts. I think it would be incredible. My God. I mean, shoot, just give us all of those Psycho Justice League characters. Like, give me every last one of them. But man, we definitely need a Batman who laughs. Everything else. Starting this section off, I really want the Phantom. No, not necessarily the movie version, but just give me any version of the classic comic book Phantom, especially the one with the striped chonies. I think that would be really cool. You know, we've gotten the Shadow, we're getting Doc Savage. You know, the Phantom has to be coming fairly soon too, right? I think he would be awesome. Again, really cool soft goods, such an iconic character. Give him some really cool weapons like his dual pistols. You gotta have stuff like that. What's really, really cool bullet effect pieces I think would be really, really nice. I think this is just a character that we just need, you know what I mean? We're getting these other cool iconic comic book characters, and the Phantom, in my opinion, is pretty iconic, so I think he'd fit in pretty good. Now, one of my favorite comics of the past 20 years has got to be Red Sonja from Dynamite Comics. Man, those books are really good, so if you're not reading those, definitely go check some of those out. But I even remember the old movies from the 80s. You know, we've gotten things like Conan the Barbarian, and Red Sonja is pretty much that. She's a female Conan. She's so dope, so badass, and gorgeous at the same time. You know, I think you could even give her interchangeable armor pieces and furs, again, much like we saw with Conan. Give her different types of axes and swords and knives and things like that would be really cool. I just think a Red Sonja in this line would be so awesome. This is definitely one character we must get in this line. Now let's talk some horror. We need a Tim Curry Pennywise. Yes, I love the more modern Pennywise that we got, and you know, I don't really collect a lot of horror with the exception of mostly just Mezco horror figures, and they all look great. But how cool would a Tim Curry Pennywise be? I would love to have both of those versions of Pennywise side by side. Of course, the soft goods would be so much fun with the materials and the colors. I think it would just stand out as something special. You know, we did get a balloon with the other version of Pennywise, so it'd be cool to get a multicolored balloon type of accessory for this one. You can give him interchangeable heads, like when half of his face is like freaking melting off, just interchangeable hands and things like that, and really creepy stuff. I think it'd be really cool. So this is one I think we will probably get, and it has to be, because he's an iconic looking character. Now, one movie that genuinely terrified me when I was younger has got to be Candyman. Now, I think this is yet another iconic villain that we need to see in this line to go side by side with Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger. Candyman is awesome, dude. And come on, Tony Todd is a freaking legend. You can have some really cool soft goods. I would love, like, the fur on there would be really cool. You gotta have that bloody hook hand would be awesome. Different types of head sculpts. You could even, like, when you open up the coat, you see that crazy bloody rib cage with like bees flying around it. I think would be awesome. I don't know, man. I think this is one I think would really fit in with all the other horror characters from the Mezco 112 collective. Now, I have said it many times that I think Mezco makes the best G.I. Joes. Now, don't get me wrong, I love G.I. Joe Classified, but Mezco is just something very, very special, and a little more high-end, of course. Now, I hope we get more G.I. Joes, but I definitely hope we get a freaking bat. How awesome would that be? The soft goods would be amazing. All the different interchangeable hands and things like that. You would be able to get like effect pieces to go with like the flamethrower and stuff. Maybe the claw can actually be functional. You could maybe even get some like die-cast parts in there. Interchangeable chess pieces. I don't know, man. The bat I think would be so awesome. I have all of the classified versions. I even have some vintage bats, but I definitely need a Mezco bat. And to go with that bat, we have to have a Cobra Commander. Again, I think the soft goods would be so dope. Giving him that little bit of Mezco flair would be awesome. You gotta have his cape given him with a bendy wire. I think it'd be really cool. Have his, helmeted version with a vac metal, much like the more recent classified would think be really cool. Give him all kinds of really awesome weapons, like a snake staff and a pistol and stuff like that would be cool. But come on, man. This would be the time, and this would be the version to give us a hooded Cobra Commander. So many of us have been wanting a hooded Cobra Commander in this scale, and I feel like Mezco would be the ones to do it. So come on, Mezco, make this happen for all of us Joe fans. From one classic 80s villain to another, we gots to have ourselves a Shredder, right? Now, the Mezco TMNT figures, like I've said many times, have been some of the most transcendent toys of the past 20 years, man. I mean, collectors went absolutely bonkers, reaching almost over $1,000 for that set. And to be honest, they are some of my favorite TMNT toys that I've owned in my collection ever, and I have a bunch, trust me. We also got a really cool Casey out of that as well, but come on, man, if we have some badass turtles, we gotta have a badass Shredder as well. I think the design would be incredible. Mezco would do their own version. It'd be cool to have like an unhelmeted Oroku Saki head, I think really cool. Give them a bunch of awesome ninja weapons. I mean, all those shiny blades, give them some great articulation. I mean, come on, man. This is just something all of us want, and I really hope we see soon. Now, on to a couple films. I really want a Rambo, but mostly Rambo from Rambo 2, because he was a little more 80s badass in that movie, where the first film was kind of a trauma action movie. But in part 2, dude, he just started busting out all the crazy weapons like bazookas and heavy artillery machine guns. He popped on that red bandana and took off his shirt, and he was all oily and sweaty and dirty. I mean, come on, dude. So many of us looked up to him. We even got a cartoon and a toy line out of it back in the day, which is a little weird. But I think this would be awesome, dude. I mean, he would pretty much fit in with G.I. Joe with some really cool soft goods. Load him up with every freaking gun and rocket launcher that Mezco possibly makes, with different effects and things like that. I think it would be so cool. I don't know, man. This is something I think all of us would really like. I know a lot of people would want Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator, but give me a freaking Rambo. Now, I know I'm about to get my butt kicked in the comments for this. I freaking want a Breakin' 3-pack. Give me Turbo, Ozone, and Special K. I want all of them, man. I mean, this was such a unique movie. It was very much 80s with the apparel and things like that. So I think the soft goods would look awesome on all of them. But it'd be really cool just to have a 3-pack of some really badass breakdancers. You know, Hoods isn't really going anywhere with Mezco. I don't know why they're not bringing out more Hoods characters. So give me a freaking Breakin' 3-pack. You know, they did even have this crazy dance battle in Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo where they use like nunchucks and trash can shields, so you can give them accessories like that. Give them their own unique tagged up boom 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 box, spray cans and things like that. I think it'd be really cool. So again, feel free to destroy me in the comments. I understand, but I really want these toys, man. So give them to me, Mezco. Now, easily one of my most anticipated things in the entire line has got to be Assassin's Creed. I'm such a die-hard fan of this franchise, and I think we really need a cool action figure line. And just with all the soft goods and accessories, I think Mezco would be the perfect fit. And honestly, I want every main assassin from every Assassin's Creed video game. I mean, I'm so hardcore, I actually got a hand tattoo of the Assassin's Creed logo recently. So this really shows my dedication, and come on dude, I think they would be so perfect. I feel like these designs were made for the 112 Collective. You know, I know Mezco doesn't do a lot of video games, but I think Assassin's Creed is definitely the ones to jump into. You get some really cool looking characters, a bunch of really awesome accessories. And again, if they just did all the main assassins, all the men and women, I think you would have one truly badass collection. So there it is, guys. My 30 most wanted action figures in the Mezco 112 Collective line. Now, do you agree with some of my choices? Are some of your choices on this list? Are some of my choices completely stupid and I'm just a freaking idiot? It's okay, feel free to let me know in the comments. But what are some of your most wanted that didn't make this list? From either comic books, video games, or film? Maybe some TV characters that I missed that you would have wanted? Hey, I would be down for a lot of different things in this line. You know, it's definitely one of my favorite action figure lines. I love them so much. I know all of you guys come to this channel for a lot of my Mezco reviews. I hope every last one of you is joining my Mezco Facebook group. You know, we do a lot of cool things over there, and it's so cool to just see you guys participating and be a part of the community. I hope 2025 is a great year for all of us in collecting. So again, feel free to be excellent to each other and stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.